Well, you can follow along. If you want to look at page 412. Specifically, children, today we talk, and how ironic it is that we talk about data and what the book calls statistics. A whole level, different level of math in high school there. How ironic we talk about it on a day like today, just after what big event from yesterday, Ryan? Wow, I know what you're thinking about. Valentine's Day. No, Groundhog's Day is today. I said what big event happened yesterday. Wow. Seventh grade book. Very narrow and shallow. Nobody knows what happened yesterday?
Memorial Day.
Please stop, Brian. Please stop. Aaron? Yeah. How'd you know? And nobody brought me presents. No, it was not my birthday. Caleb? Well, it was the Iowa caucuses from the Democrats and Republicans. It's all one. Which is statistics in a sense. You know, who won? Donald Trump actually finished second, almost third. Who was the guy? Not Marco Rubio, he was third. Ted Cruz won for the Republicans, and for the Democrats, it was pretty close there between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. I guess they proclaimed Hillary, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, here's what we're looking at. Take a look at page 412 with me here. It says in that paragraph there, oh, by the way, it says statistics in science is the science of collecting and interpreting data in order to draw conclusions and make predictions. Okay? It's data collection to help you make decisions. You know, a good indication of that would be, you know, before decisions. Before they probably built the big jewel in town or the Home Depot or Menards, they don't just willy-nilly just start throwing those buildings up there. I'm sure they have a big long formula of things where they collect data. What kind of data would you probably collect if you were looking to build a Jewel or a Home Depot or a Menards? Logan?
Maybe what's around.
All right. Probably the kind of growth and the home building and what was going on. And when they built, this is ironic, when they built all those stores, it was probably about what year would you say? Older people, you probably don't remember.
2001.
Yeah, it was probably in the early 2000, 2002, 2003, when what was happening? People were moving into Kendall County and building houses in Yorkville like they were going on crazy. Remember, how many of you, did any of you move in like in the early 2000s? Okay, I mean, take a look. Take a look. Well, a lot of you people built houses and moved in. So the people that build the Home Depots and the Menards, I'm sure they did these studies, found these statistics about how many houses were going up, because when you build houses, guess what you need? Lumber, you need all the decorations, you know, you need to drywall, the ceilings, you know, all that stuff. And in addition to that, you need to have a population base that's big enough to support that. Well, unfortunately, about 2007, 2008, everything collapsed, okay, and the population stopped growing. It probably actually declined a little bit, and maybe now it's starting to grow again. But I can guarantee you, if the people that built Jewel, Home Depot, and Menards knew today what would have happened, they probably wouldn't build their stores there, because we have a pretty small town to have both Home Depot, Target, Menards. You know, they built all these big shopping centers and stuff with the thoughts that people were just going to continue to move into Yorkville and be, you know. I often wonder, does anybody ever go to Home Depot? Sometimes you're lucky to see a person at Home Depot. You know, there's that great big Home Depot in the parking lot, maybe there's like 6 or 7 cars. You know, that's simply because we don't have that kind of population that really to support something like that. Anyway, so that's where we're at here. Look at that second paragraph. It says, suppose the managers of a theme park plan to build a new restaurant in its grounds. The managers want to know the preference of park attendees. The managers can collect this information by conducting a survey. The group of people that researchers want to study is called the population. That's the group of people. And then they go on to talk about the data they're going to collect. It says often it is not practical to survey an entire population, so researchers select a smaller sample. Okay, a smaller sample. Sometimes it's just not practical to ask every, for example, when they talk about TV ratings, how many of you on a daily night get a call from the people that do the TV's ratings to check to see what you're watching? Anybody? Anybody even remember anybody calling their house to ask them what they watch? Okay, probably not. Oh, they do? Did you get somebody once that called? Huh? Really? They do what?
They call.
About ask what you're watching on TV? Well, how do you know that was what they were asking about?
Sometimes it says like TV.
Oh, okay, maybe that's true. So it's not practical for these people that do these things to call everybody, so they do a small section and they take a sample. Okay? It's like a ratio. You know, if you called 100 people and 5 of them were watching, what did you watch last night? Somebody tell me something you watched last night. Did I watch TV last night? Claire says you watched what? American Pickers? Oh, wow, The Simpsons. Well, I've never seen one of those, but if 5 out of 100 people, if they sampled 100 people and 5 of them were watching The Simpsons, okay, well, if that's the case, they can get a good guess as to how many people in the entire United States were watching The Simpsons, because it's going to be in that same ratio, 5% of the people. You know, if there's 300 million people in the United States and 5% of them are watching The Simpsons, you know, what is that? You just take 5% of that, you get 0.0000015. You know, about 15,000 people, or maybe it's, are watching The Simpsons. So you just, it's not practical to sample everybody, so you just sample a small section and you get a little partial of it. But when you do that, you have to be very, 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 very careful about what we call bias. Anybody know what bias is? Logan?
If you are like mainly on one side.
Okay, yeah, if you're, it says in here, a slant towards a particular point of view. An example of that, of where you might find bias is, let's say you went to the library, you were trying to figure out what percentage of the population like to read. So you go to the library and you talk to 20 people. Why would that not be a good sampling, and why would that be biased? Andrew?
Because they're already reading it.
Yeah, because they're going there, they're probably in the library because they like to read and they're checking out a book. So that would obviously be biased towards books. Another example might be, I don't know, you're in a bakery, you're in Dunkin' Donuts, and you're trying to figure out how many people, you know, what percentage of the people eat donuts for breakfast. Would it be smart to go to a Dunkin' Donuts and then ask those people? No, because they're already biased towards that.
Or if they're with basketball.
A little like asking 7th graders if they enjoy, you know, if they think doing homework is good or bad. Well, obviously, they're going to be biased towards not doing homework because that's the way 7th graders are. You know, when you survey a population, a sample, you need to make sure that it is not biased one way or another. You know, what would be, what was the first example I gave? Oh, if you were trying to sample people about whether they like to read or not, where would be the best place, or what would be a logical place to go sample those people? Any place that has nothing to do with reading. The grocery store, most people go to grocery stores. The mall, you know. What was going, yeah. So those sort of things there. So it goes on to say this, number 1. It says, so for example, when they go into the park, they might ask every 100th person who walks through the gates to participate in the survey. Would that be biased if you asked, you know, you're asking them what kind of food they like? You know, do one out of every 100 be fair? You know, if you went up to the concession stand where they were eating, where they only sold hamburgers, and you asked them, would that be biased? Probably, because people in line are probably standing there because they want a hamburger. Number 1 says, consider the survey that the theme park managers wish to conduct. Discuss the difficulties of surveying the entire population. That. Number 2, if the surveys were conducted only among people in one or the other restaurants at the park, would that sample be representative of the entire population? No. Number 3, conduct a closed opinion survey among your classmates. As a class, choose 3 restaurant options for the theme park. I don't want to do that. Number 4, what type of restaurant is most, I don't want to do that either. How about qualitative and quantitative? Write those 2 words down. Have we talked about this? Tip. The difference between quantitative and qualitative data. Anybody? You can get it by looking at what the words start with there. Qualitative and quantitative. It's locked. Who locked the door? I don't know how that happens ever, Mrs. Smiley.
Well, I've been going around, I've been in my lesson for all this time, I try to go around the door and unlock them.
Oh,
But I never check first.
mine is never
Always
locked.
unlocked.
I know, it's never locked except every
Somebody
once in
must
a
have
while.
hit it or something.
What's the difference between quantitative and qualitative? Maggie? Right, quality is something that you can put into categories, what characteristics it has. What's your favorite color? Where you would give me the groups of red, blue, green, whatever it is. Those are characteristics. Quantitative is numerical. It's about just the numbers. About numbers. Okay, quality as opposed to numbers here. Let's see, did they ask us some questions on that? Data that's numerical. So here to be a question. Suppose I asked you how much time you spent studying, doing homework at night. Would that be qualitative or quantitative? Is time a number, or is time, do we have blue times or happy times and sad times? No, it'd be which one of those, Andrew? Yeah, it'd be a quantity, how much. If you can say how much of it, then it's quantitative. If it's something what kind, then it would be qualitative. I don't know if I want to do more of that. Opinion survey, circle graph, maybe we'll just stop there.
Mr. Hahn, do you care if I grab some disposable ice packs?